It's not the edge, it's not the cloud, it's edge cloud. Hi everybody, Karen Roby here for ZDNet. You know, edge cloud sounds like a contradiction in terms, and actually it is, but a contradiction for a good reason. Service providers want a way to bring servers out of the big public cloud and closer to where you live to serve you faster and more conveniently, but it all depends on where you live. So Scott Fulton is here with us to map all of this out. And the way we've seen edge cloud described, of course, Scott does, is in a way to bring computing out of hyperscale data centers and into local warehouses. So you've actually talked to the people building these things. Is that really what this is?
It might be, depending on who is going to be doing the building in the end. We tend to think of the edge when we talk about the edge in a network as the edge of the internet. And we imagine the heartbeat and the trunk and all the capillaries, and at the end of things, these points are all these users like you and me. And we think, well, probably the edge is going to be closer to that. And this isn't really necessarily the case. The edge is, in a sense, it's the furthest point from the distribution center, the original hub of an application, the data center, the main data center, the furthest point out from that, where it's actually doing its job. It might be close to the user like you and me, but it might be close to where the data is being collected. For instance, you and I might have a video camera attached to our doorbells these times. We have Internet of Things based devices that are taking live video of who's standing on our front porch. Well, there are millions of it. And you might think that network might be better served by little data centers that are closer to everybody's neighborhoods. That actually might not be the case. If you have fiber connections running through the 5G connection, and they lead to a data center that's close to the hub of where the manufacturer is doing its processing, so it might use some artificial intelligence and say, hey, that guy on your doorstep, I don't recognize him. That's a face we haven't seen before. That type of AI processing may be done closer to the hub rather than closer to the doorbell. So the edge depends on the convenience of the application in this case. And where that's going to end up being is wherever the fiber, the actual hard fiber optic cable leads it most conveniently. If you imagine in the 1850s and 1860s, right before the American Civil War, the lines of where we started really drawing our cities, our commerce hubs, started moving away from the rivers where it was easier to do transport to the railroads where it was bringing, the railroad lines were bringing commerce closer inland. Well, we're having that kind of effect right now with fiber optic lines. And that's actually why I have this little spinning globe. And now everybody knows how much I love maps. This particular map is provided by a company called Telegeography. And if you Google Telegeography, T-E-L-E geography, submarine cable map 2020, you'll get this map. And what it is, it's very beautifully rendered in kind of old world style, which I love old world cartography. But what it also is a preview of where all the submarine data cables are being laid across the world's oceans. And you can see where they're connecting this new concept of where the commerce centers in a globally connected world are. And they're not places that you would normally think of. They may be in the center of New Jersey. They may be in Long Island, New York. On this coast, it may be Hillsboro, Oregon. These are going to be the commerce centers of the world, and as such, they will become the edges for data that's going to be connected on these very fat pipes globally when they go to Hong Kong or China on this side, when they go to Spain or Ireland on this side. This is where the main shipping lines are going to be. And because these connections are here on the coastline, there's going to be data centers in those areas with very fat fiber optic pipes. The most bandwidth you can possibly get are going to be in these centers. And that is going to be the candidates for the network edge of the future, of the places where the data goes. Where you can collect the data in one space, that's going to be your hub. So even if you live in Indianapolis or in Louisville, Kentucky, your data hub, your edge network for your doorbell or your oven or the video on the GoPro camera that you've attached to your catcher's mitt, that might be going to someplace in the center of New Jersey, and it might be going to Hillsboro, Oregon.
Okay, so we'll say I'm a producer here in Louisville, Kentucky. Where would be the best way, let's say, for my edge cloud data center, closer to me or closer to my viewers?
That's if you're going to be like a broadcaster and your intent is to have your signal transcoded into a video format that can then be piped through a content delivery network, a special set of pipes that goes toward in the direction of all of your viewers, then you will want your data center closer to you. And that's not going to be an either or situation. If you're a broadcaster, you want to be able to communicate with the data center that's doing transcoding, which is one of the hardest jobs in computing, taking live high resolution video. I mean, I'm transmitting at 720p right now, but imagine 4K video live and in quadraphonic stereo. If either of us are going to be doing broadcasting, we're going to be wanting our transcoding and our editing centers real close to us, not close to the user, because you'd have to station them everywhere. And this gets back to the concept of what the edge cloud is. Because the original edge cloud, when it was proposed by AT&T and China Telecom back in 2014, the idea was to have these data centers closer to the users. Well, if the users are going to be the broadcasters and having it, close to the endpoints of where the content is being distributed, that's the wrong direction. It's the wrong edge. So you're going to have these two forces, if you will. And it's not like the good and the evil force in Star Wars or in Congress. It's the forces of the content provider and the content consumer. Where is it going to be most convenient? Where is it going to expedite service? Where are you going to be able to see a Netflix documentary that was produced yesterday in 1080p or 4K video with surround sound? It was produced and edited yesterday. How are you going to get that out to your viewers most conveniently? Probably in that case, when you've got a data center that's closer to the broadcaster.
All right, always interesting, Scott. Thanks so much for being with us here today. And of course, for more on Edge Cloud, make sure you check out Scott's full article and much, much more on ZDNet. Thanks for watching.